He's got Rebels versus the Reds. He got Rebels out. They got Reece Hodge fractured his finger, came through the skin apparently, as did the tendons. Has gone for an operation. I think a finger operation's like 4 weeks, maybe 6 absolute max. Like he'll be back pretty fast. Yeah. I mean, you're showing us your hands, but your hands are made of like putty. They're an absolute joke. There's something seriously wrong with your genetics. Also on the red side, you got Pataya was pulled pre-match, so we don't know if he's going to be back just yet either. Returning, you got Josh Canham coming back from a concussion. Glenn Vihill and Joe Pinkers apparently both in line to possibly fill in for Reece Hodge. We're still 1 week short of Andrew Kellaway, so he won't be back just yet. And for the Reds, Hunter Paisami, you would think should be back from his concussion. And Josh Nasser, we've mentioned him a couple of times, expected to be back from his shoulder recon. I think if he's not in the 23 this week, I'm just going to put it down to the fact that he's not being picked. But he was so good when he got his chances last year that I just can't see why that would happen.
Yeah, hopefully we see him work his way back in. You're touching on if Reece Hodge is missing, what do we see? I know Illy's been looking pretty good in that 12 jersey and actually really impressed us for a guy that we gave no credit to, even after 3 good performances in a row. So,
but we're willing to change. When people beat the door down, we're willing to change.
We are willing. We're not willing yet. So he has to do it another 12 to 14 weeks before we're willing to say he's a good player, but he's still pretty good. So the options there are maybe with him filling the 12 jersey, maybe we see Lucas Ripley coming out of 13. We saw him have a bit of a crack there last year. I don't know where Red Card Renew is.
He did his knee. Yeah, I think he did his knee late in the preseason. They didn't really ever establish exactly what it was, but it sounded a lot like it might have been his ACL. So it wouldn't surprise me if you don't see him for the whole year.
Okay, so I mean the chances really are Ripley at 13, or do we see Via who potentially come in at 12, shifting Illy out to 13, which he played a lot of there last year, but he's playing well. So I don't know how much you want to shift him around.
Yeah, and I just want to talk about Hardwick again because his form is just outrageous. He had another cracker.
What's our nickname for him?
Can't remember. You can have a think and put it up in the podcast live if you like. But he just goes from strength to strength. Again, we said we're willing to change our opinion. Ever since he's taken himself off the eligibility for Australia, he has been exceptional. So he's probably the form back rower in Australia at the moment. I've got to say, though, I thought that El Capitan, his partner last week, was very, very good in Brad Wilkin as well, who had a few penalties himself, a few turnovers himself. But, man, Hardwick's form has been sensational. And I think he's going to really compete with Harry Wilson, I should say.
Yeah, look, you said we're willing to change our opinion on him, and you've torn me apart for years when I've said Hardwick's a good player. So
he wasn't. He was not. For all those years, he was not. You're wrong. Just because he has become a good player does not mean he was always good.
You don't have the vision. It's understandable. Don't worry. Yeah, look, Hardwick, I don't know if he's grown 6 inches taller and chucked on 20 kilos, because that is seriously how he is playing. It is. I really wish he was still eligible for the Wallabies with how he's playing, because if he can keep this up for much longer, he'd be very hard to argue with not being in the squad, covering, 8, but also 7. And, if he's as tall as he looks, maybe he could cover locks, he could cover the props with how chunky he's looking, cover everything in the front, forward back.
Yeah, absolutely.
An interesting one coming back to Canham, over 200 centimetres, pairing Hosea, both relatively inexperienced, but very hardworking locks. I want to see this partnership develop while Phillip is missing, because these two players are very promising and big bodies and work hard around the paddock. Canham was getting, in the teens for tackles each week, at the start of the year, and he's a big guy. So it's a really promising partnership for them, even though they're missing Phillip.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Gordon is playing his way into a Wallaby squad right now. Carter Gordon has been fantastic every single week. I didn't think he could do it against the Chiefs. He did. He just looks fantastic. I think Donaldson and Tane Edmund's form has been pretty disappointing. I think He's just got competition from, I think, Quaid and Jock. I think if he can push one of those guys out, then I expect to see him in the World Cup squad, because I think Noah Alessio is going to be the obvious kind of form option with the Brumbies players. They're going to make up the entire side. So, it's not out of the question. You may see Carter Gordon as the third fly half in the team. He's playing that well.
The only concern for him is kicking. So he's got 33% for the year, and he isn't taking a lot of the opportunities. They're not showing faith in his kicking ability. But he is someone for me that we probably had so far down the list of behind 3 Waratahs 10s. Not even kidding, behind 3 Waratahs 10s. Liner at the start of the year started to look promising, and instantly we put him above Gordon, going, the guy's at the Rebels. He will not continue to do this. And he is seriously just building week in, week out in terms of his maturity. He is a dynamic, really raw style 10 that brings the ball to the line. He is very solid in D. He made 11 tackles from 11 on the weekend. So against a solid side, he is really showing he can do everything but potentially kick at goals at the moment. So give the man the tee and let him start kicking, because we know the Rebels aren't going to win the comp. Let this guy build some experience off the tee.
The one change I want to see is Juste. I just want to see him out of the side. Let's be honest. I think he's got a big boot, so I could see that they kind of subbed him into the Reece Hodge role when he went off last week. But I'm really hoping Pincus is back and can go to 15, because I just really don't see him offer much. He made one good cover tackle and saved a try on the weekend, but really I think he's a space filler. I'm not sure he's really adding a lot to their game in attack or defense.
I think he had a couple of good runs on the weekend, but he really isn't the full package.
Doesn't know how to run, mate. The bloke's never run.
He made a few tackle busts and a few other little things, and he's relatively large. You can get his stats up if you want to disprove me, but I think he's the man they need to change. I don't know if we've heard an update on Kellaway. Originally, he was saying he was hoping to be back for this week, but more than likely he would be back next week.
Yeah, around 6.
So there was an article about a week ago saying he was hoping to be back for this one, but expected to be back.
Yeah, I think on the weekend they said he was expected around 6. Yeah. The Reds side of things, for me, it was just, which Reds team is going to show up? Is it the Reds that turned up to play the Brumbies and the Western Force? Or is it the Reds that turned up to play the Fiji and Ndrua and the Hurricanes? I think if they can get their mentality right, that'll be the biggest thing and go a long way to winning this game. I think they seem a little bit fragile at the moment. I think if the Rebels can open up a little bit of a lead, take some opportunistic points and get maybe 10 or 12 points ahead, I find it really hard to see the Reds coming back and winning that game. I think the Rebels could run away with it. But if they can keep it tight, go late in the piece, or even get a little bit of a lead themselves, I think they can put the game away.
Yeah, look, it is a bit of a question for them. And James O'Connor has shown glimpses of being very, very good. Obviously, we've seen Liner early on in the season look like a real controlling figure for that back line. Numerous changes in the centres. Do we see Paisami back after his concussion? Taj Anand was quite promising. He's quite big. I think he's like 191 centimeters or something, but he's a 10. He's a makeshift 12, and he did quite well there for them. So if Paisami's back, I think that goes a long way to a bit more continuity in their back line, especially if Jock's playing 10. If Pataya's back, again, lots more cohesion in this back line, and they should have that edge to take it to the Rebels for mine.
And what's your pick for the outside backs? What do you want to see happen?
Look, in all honesty, if Pataya's back, I want to see Pataya at 15. I love Jock Campbell, but I want to see more time with Pataya in the back. I know he was named on the wing before getting pulled last week, but personally, I would like to see Pataya at 15. Jock Campbell maybe at wing, and he can come and cover across at that 15 channel as well. But I want to see more time for Pataya there. Dungunu has done really quite well throughout a lot of this, start of this season. My big question is this really it from Vunivalu? We've seen moments of really solid performances throughout and real threat in the last couple of years. Since we saw him try to break away for a try and not trust his hammy or something going on around there, we've barely seen the guy run. We didn't see him run last week. He scored a try, but didn't have to do much. We didn't really see him leaping in the air. We haven't seen him looking for the ball. His work rate off the ball is far too poor for me to have him starting if Pattaya is fit. So I'd definitely be seeing him on the bench.
I think we're going to see Pattaya back. The hashtag Atco knows, he did say when Pattaya got pulled that it was for an ankle injury and that it wasn't expected to be more than 1 week. So I reckon we'll see him back, and I think you're right, Vunivalu, that means we'll be on the bench.
I'm happy for him to not be on the bench too. I'm losing faith in the bloke. If he needs time to get his body right, to be confident, get time to get your body right, because standing on the field and doing nothing is not building any confidence either.
What's your pick? I'll go first on this one, eh?
Yeah, I'm going to say Reds. I don't think it's going to be convincing.
Right, you go first this one then.
Sorry?
You go first this one then.
Sorry, I thought you said I should go first. I always do. Look, I think the Reds are going to be good enough to win this one. If the Rebels start strong, like you said, and are playing well, they'll stay in this one. I don't think it'll be necessarily a blowout like we saw against Force. So I'm going to say Reds by 8.
Right. I've only gone 3 points, going down to Melbourne. Reds away from home. I think it'll be less than a score. I think it'll be very close. So, yeah, I've gone 3.
Fair enough.